What is happening, people, and welcome back to another video on this channel. It feels like ages since I've sat in front of the camera and I've actually spoken to you lot, but yeah, life's been a bit manic, which I know doesn't sound like it has been because obviously quarantine and whatever's going on. But yeah, no, I've actually been really busy recently and I've had a lot of different projects and things going on. But I'm back and I should start to be producing a lot more videos and a lot more interesting videos. So this video today, we're going to be looking at how you can develop and build a stronger bench press and a lot of tips and techniques that I've used in my career since going to the gym so far that I've kind of adapted to build a strong bench press. My 1 rep max is currently sitting at about 130, 140 kg, but obviously my injury has meant that I haven't been training to like my best of my ability, but I'm definitely getting back into it. And today I actually did a session which is going to be different to obviously what you're seeing in the footage right now, but today I done a session and I managed to do 10 sets of 3 reps on 115 kg, so that was over on my Instagram. If you don't follow my Instagram already, go check that out. So it's DLushFit. I'd really appreciate that if you could go and kind of give me a follow over there. I've just hit 3,000 followers as we're talking right now, so yeah, really impressed with how the growth of that's going, and obviously the growth of my YouTube as well. So hopefully in the future I can carry on growing, get some more videos out and better content as the rules of quarantine are being lifted. So, gym's opening back up on the 25th of July, so I thought this would be a great video to get out in the meantime, because you're going to be getting a lot more access to bench press and being able to use barbells again. So when building up for a big bench press session, I do really want to kind of build up my reps slowly. I'm going to be just talking over this footage while it's going on in the background, because I feel like it's good that you can see what sort of exercises I do for mobility and just warming up loads of different things. So first off, let's start with kind of the legs. Your leg drive in bench press is really important, and having good stability at the legs is really important. So you need to make sure your legs are warmed up for one, and you're also warming up your lower back and you're getting good range of motion going through the lower back. If you're looking at doing heavy bench press, you're going to want to have a nice curve in your bench press, so it's really important that you're warming that lower back up and you don't end up straining it or anything like that, because you're going to have a heavy load that is going to be putting pressure on your lower back. Before any session in the gym, I make sure I get between 10 and 15 minutes just doing the stretches, warming up all the joints, especially shoulder rotator cuffs and a lot of the kind of mobility in your shoulder. You want to be doing the front and rear because they're going to be taking a lot of the strain during a big chest session. So like I do all of these different types of exercises because it will make a big difference in the long run. A lot of people that I know, they really don't take warming up seriously, and at the end of the day, if you get injured and you're out for a few weeks, you're only going to be hating yourself for not doing these warm-ups and stuff like that. And I know that my recovery time since warming up properly before and then cooling down, warm down afterwards, whatever you want to call it, I've been able to recover a lot faster. And at the moment, because obviously I can't really do other big lifts, I'm getting about three chest sessions in a week, so it's really been allowing me to lift heavier and kind of recover a lot faster. Like I said, in this video you're going to see today, we done 3 times 3 on 115 kg, and then today I'm managing to do 10 sets on 3 reps of 115. So like I said, the progress in what must have been about a week and a half has been incredible, and that is because I'm doing everything to optimize my recovery and making sure that I'm recovering as fast as I can. One thing that I really do see a lot in the gym is people going in, they do 1 set with the bar and then they're in there with their mates and they want to just kind of show off and they want to rush it, and they just go and put 2 20 kgs, 1 on each side straight away, and just go and bang 10 reps out of that. Alright, so my top working sets, I'm working between about 110 and 120 kg at the moment for bench press, and let me tell you that I do about 5 or 6 sets that are below 30 kg on the bar. So as you can see with this build up, I start with the bar and I've only shown you 1 set here, but I will do 2 or 3 sets working with the bar while doing loads of mobility stuff around my shoulders in between. I will then put 2 10s on each side and I will only do 10 reps with 40 kg, 35 kg. And then we'll build it up really slowly. So I'll go from 10 reps, I'll do 8 reps with 40 kg, I'll then go 6 reps with 50. And what you want to aiming to do is get in so you're doing 1 rep of your working set. So if you're looking to do a working set of 3 times 3 on 115, you want to be building it up so you're doing 1 rep of 115 by the end of it. 2 reps of around maybe 95, 100 kg. But that really slow build up, it will get your joints and get your kind of stability used to taking that weight at a more steady rate, instead of just putting all the pressure on, which is going to lead to injury. It will really help, and I know for a fact that it's really increased my like kind of strength within sessions, and it will allow you to lift your optimum weight. Another thing that I'd like to mention is kind of replenishing your creatine levels and amino acid levels. So throughout my sets, I will always have a creatine and amino acid drink that I will sip throughout my sets. A lot of this is something that my lecturer told me when I was at Oxford Brookes. And he told me about how creatine levels, they take up to 6 minutes, if not longer than 6 minutes, to replenish. So if you've got your fast twitch muscle fibers and everything, they're not going to be working at their optimal levels if they haven't replenished all of that energy and the ATP and everything that it needs to kind of lift the optimum weight. So if you're looking at your working sets between, if you're doing 3x3, if you're doing a 5x5, something like that, you want to be spending about 5 minutes rest in between sets. You know, doing your shoulder mobility, really taking your time with it for them bigger lifts. Obviously, when you're doing sets which are more accessories, you're doing your kind of like incline, things like that, it's not as important. But if you're looking for performance and wanting to increase your actually overall like kind of strength, you really need to look at that. Like today, me and my dad did the obviously 10x3, and with the 10x3, I think we was doing 6 minutes in between each set. So it took us an hour. It took us an hour to do that like kind of one chunk of training. However, you do feel amazing, and like for every set I was going into that 3 reps feeling completely fresh, and it was almost like my lifts throughout the 10 sets, they actually got stronger, and like my 10th set felt better than my 3rd set. It was crazy, and I've never felt so good training. It was because you need to leave your body time to recover in between. When you're doing strength training, a lot of people just want to rush it. They want to get into it and they want to lift as heavy as they can to show off in front of their mates. You do need to take your time with it. You need to concentrate on technique and concentrate on getting the right kind of motion with the movement first, because getting all that stuff and building up with that. It was Matt Fraser that said that when he was younger and he was training, if you don't know who Matt Fraser is, he's really big in the CrossFit world. And he was saying that when he was like 12, 13, learning how to do all of these powerlifting movements, he was training with literally like a broomstick, and he was just learning the technique. He was getting the exact technique, and all of these kids that were lifting heavier than him, he just overtook when he started putting weights on. And he had a coach from a young age that kind of like that taught him this. And I think with a lot of people, they don't have the coach and they don't have the knowledge. And like I don't get me wrong, I am not perfect. I don't have all the knowledge, but I do like looking into things, and that's where I'm always happy to kind of learn new things. I'm not as stubborn when it comes to sport. I'm stubborn in person, but when it comes to fitness, I really do want to kind of like make the best out of myself. So this is where it's really like important to kind of look into different studies and to do your own research into things. Like I would never have known to take 6 minutes rest in between each set when I'm working at like my top. Like who would have thought that? You would think, oh, 2 minutes, yeah, you're done. And when you do actually time 6 minutes, you realise how long it is in between sets. So yeah, definitely take it into consideration. Bench press technique, I think it's a really sticky one, because a lot of people go into bench press thinking that they're having the elbows flared out, and a lot of it's like a lot higher up. So as you can see from my technique in my bench press, like I'll say my grip is about shoulder width apart, and then put another inch either side, and I go a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. With your elbows, you almost want to be bringing your elbows so like they're at 45 degrees. So if you're thinking putting your arms out like as if you're doing like kind of a side lateral raise, you want to be within about 45 when you're on the way down. So you're coming down like this and you're dropping the bar down. I watched another YouTube video of like a bench pressing technique, and they were saying about how like kind of people think that they're just dropping the bar like kind of straight down, but it's almost like a curve when you're coming down to your chest and then you're coming back up to kind of like shoulder level. So head positioning, you've got people that kind of drop their head down with each rep and follow the bar. Keep your head facing up at all times. Dropping the bar like lower onto your chest. So you want to be aiming for like around the sternum like area, if not like kind of where the nipple line is. And by doing this, it's taking a lot of the strain off the shoulders and off the rotator cuffs and making sure that it's putting it onto the chest. A lot of people where their technique is going onto the shoulders, it's because they've generally got stronger shoulders than they do with chest. Chest isn't something that's worked in day-to-day life. You never go along and you're doing like kind of like, apart from pushing things, a lot of it comes from your shoulders through carrying, through just general day-to-day movements. So with your chest, it's a bigger muscle and there's definitely more potential for growth and for strength like development, but you need to get that right technique. At the start, you might actually find it harder to do that technique, and you may find it that dropping it down, you're not able to lift as heavy. But in the long run, because you've got more potential and the muscle's bigger, you're going to be able to lift heavier. So trust me, stick with it and you'll find developments. And another thing you'll notice with a lot of my reps is I hate cheat reps. So I will always pause on the chest, and I will always focus on the pause at the top of the movement and the pause on the bottom of the movement, just making sure that my joints are in control at all times. You see a lot of people and they go in and they just drop the bar on their chest and they jolt it up as fast as they can. Don't get me wrong, it might look cool in the moment. However, a lot of that is just momentum, and a lot of that is going to be taken off of the joints, and you're going to get weak elbows from it. I know my elbows when I first started training were so weak, and my wrists were so weak as well. Like I have female wrists, like my wrists are just ridiculous. But you're only going to build up the strength in that is if you do the right technique and you don't cheat yourself. Like people that go training with their mates, like don't get me wrong, I love training with friends, but I also hate it because everyone's trying to prove they're stronger than everyone. Everyone's going to try and prove that they're the best. That's why training on your own, you can concentrate on yourself, especially going to a gym where you haven't got other people in there that know you and are going to judge you for what you're doing. You don't need it. Like if they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, oh look, he's only doing, like people watch me warming up and they see me doing like 8 reps with 10 kg on each side and they laugh, and then 2 minutes later I'm there bench pressing like 120 130 and they're like, okay, fuck. Like people are always going to judge whatever you do, but just like put your earphones in, concentrate on yourself and rebuild it up slowly. On the same day as training chest, I will normally always do a horizontal push and pull day instead of just doing chest, because I really like to kind of work my back as well, and I feel like it's a lot better for kind of joint stability and kind of the whole anatomy of your body. So one thing I do want to mention is about training your back to build a bigger bench press, and people go like, how is a bigger back going to be kind of in relation to a stronger bench? And when I do my bench press, I make sure that I've kind of like pulled my back as tight as I can, and I've definitely pulled my shoulder blades in, as that should be the only point that you have on the bench because you've got the arch in your back. So having a bigger, stronger back, it's going to give you more stability. It's going to then just give you a stronger core that you're working with. Kind of moving on to core, saying that as well, having a strong core, having a strong lower back, it's all going to make a difference within your bench press. It's all links to stability and everything like this. Leg positioning as well. With leg positioning, I always like going in a place where I'm comfortable with. It should be as kind of close to the central line of the body as possible. I don't like it when people kind of have their legs like really wide out. Have it close to the bench, but make sure you've got like a strong point on the ground. Make sure that your heels are planted in the ground, and I don't like, some people go onto their toes, but I think I like feel a lot firmer if I've got my heels and my toes both on the ground. But make sure there's not too much of a strain. Like if you're less flexible than someone else, don't try and tuck your legs like right under where they're putting them. Just do what suits you and kind of focus on what you feel works for you. With the working sets that I like to do to kind of improve strength, a lot of people say that you know to improve your strength you're working between like 3 and 6 reps, and if you want to improve more muscular endurance you're going up to 12 reps.
I disagree with this theory, and if you look at the video that I done comparing skull crushers and close grip bench press, it showed that actually getting a very good mix between the two, the lower rep ranges and the higher rep ranges, is going to have a greater increase in your hypertrophy and your overall strength training. I like to definitely make sure that I do a lot of 3x3s, 5x5s, and then even 10x10 sets, so German volume training, and also doing sets like 10 sets of like 2 reps and really overloading and having big like rest in between.
Anyway guys, that is it for this video. If you've enjoyed this video and you have learned something new, then please make sure to drop a like down below. It really does help out, and I really appreciate all the support that I have had on this channel so far. This video did take a lot more time than I was anticipating. However, I really enjoyed doing this video, and I want to be kind of introducing more of these videos into the future when I'm developing my knowledge and going through my fitness journey on coming back from recovery and everything like that. So if this is something that's interested you and you want to see more kind of videos looking into like the technique of certain exercises and the rep ranges to increase certain movements, then do let me know. Anyway, until next time, goodbye.